Guys, welcome to Need for Speed Heat. This was my first customization on the game. It sounds so amazing. So in the garage, you can actually play around and rev the vehicle in the garage. It's not something you can really do before, at least in the way this game works. So as you just saw, for example, there, I was very quickly switching to my own collection. You can either in the garage, if you're playing online, see your crew in the garage, or you can have your own personal vehicles in there. You can switch between both of them very, very simply. So I decided to customize the GTR. There really wasn't anything new to customize currently on this build of the game during Gamescom. So anyway, that is what we're about to do right now. Now, the game feels, it's hard to explain. It just feels so much more solid. Everything seems much more polished. It almost feels like 2015 was then obviously the original step, the official step, the first foundation of the game, and Payback was kind of testing the waters, seeing what they could possibly get away with. And now obviously Need for Speed Heat finalized with the huge wangs on the side, obviously changing the tail lights as well because it makes them look extra spicy and dark and new. It makes it feel a little bit more modern. Again, this GTR we've played with a lot, but obviously there's not only just the standard customization, there's a few new parts in here. At least that's what I felt. It felt like there were new parts in here, and if there isn't, there is definitely new paint options available. Exhaust tuning, which we're going to get into a little bit later. All that stuff is to come, but for now, we're going through the basics. You can see the avatar on the side as well. You can actually choose and customize the avatar. I didn't get time to play with that yet, but I will be posting a video of that for you super soon. But the look of this car looked so nice. You have no idea. Going through obviously all of the dinner plates. I noticed that this one doesn't fit properly. There's a big gap kind of available to you. So fill the gap in, and then we're going to start customizing. Again, I changed the wheels. The wheels I wanted to play with as well. The wheels, obviously some brand new. I just noticed there's exhaust at the side of the kit there. Does this mean it has many more exhausts, like 6 exhausts? Anyway, we've gone through the wheels. BBS is back, as we said in a video earlier. We've now properly confirmed it. Just to show you all of the, this is totally the reason why. Totally the reason why. So I'm going to apply these wheels to the front right here, and in the back, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to go for some different wheels. Totally change the wheels just for the simple fact that I want to show off both. That's totally the reason. 100%. Anyway, playing around with them. I think they actually went a little bit bigger. The menu is obviously not finalized. This is a very early build of the game. This is obviously the Gamescom build. They've built it just for us to play and demo. This is what is available to play at the show floor if you're at Gamescom. So if you're looking to get your hands on, you can totally do that. Now, something that's new as well, that you can actually do with modding before. You can't really do it as a base. You can actually change the tires. So it's not just normal. You could normally do that, obviously, but you can actually change the type of tire. The specs are gone, which means we now get to choose the type of tire. You can actually have drag radials and everything on these tires. I went for a kind of road drag radial almost, with a little bit of a stretch on it. It looks it kind of reminds me of the style that I've got on my own GTR. Very nice indeed. I can't believe I mismatched the wheels. I know I should redo this whole video. No. I wanted to get this out and show you everything that's new. So far everything has been, pretty the same, except for the fact of the tires. There's obviously the new lowering menu, which is a little bit similar to Payback. It's a little bit more limited to what it was on 2015 because we had some clipping issues in the last game. But this is the exhaust sound. Now, I'm going to let you listen for a sec. It's totally possible to do this in the older games, but to this extent, no. You couldn't just change sliders. And I just kept revving it. It kind of, I was revving it too much. I actually felt mechanical sympathy to a fake car. But it sounded so good, so I just gotta keep going. Amazing, I know. So you can basically play around with the sliders, give it a go, give it a whirl. Change to how you want. If you do the over and all the way to the side, it gives more pops. As you can see, there's actual physical flames now, which is something that was there but not in massively. You can see the flames still popping in the back of the car there. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the new visual customization parts, other than paint, which we're now jumping into. You can see you can now customize the type of paint. So we've got satin, gloss, everything. We've got chameleon paint. We've got different materials as well. The material editor almost kind of reminds me of Forza, which I think they actually were inspired, at least, by Forza's kind of paint system. But they're taking it a step further, and they've got the chameleon paints, which is something we've been begging for such a long time. And I managed to make the paint style that I've got on my Lexus RCF in the game changing through, I had decided to go with a carbon fiber effect as well, which looked absolutely beautiful. I think most of my cars are going to end up being carbon fiber. Just so you know, please don't shout at me. I also didn't change the license plate, which is also something I deserve to be shouted at. And the only sticker that I wanted to do, because again, this is a time demo before everything is completely wiped and it plays it again, is put my sticker on it. Who else's sticker would I need to put on it? No one else's, just mine. Just put it in the top corner, cheeky. It's like a little kiss. I wasn't holding the precise tools, as you can clearly see, but the color just looks so good. It's actually like a proper color shift color, and with the new wheels and the new paint alone on this car, and obviously the exhaust setup, which I'm going to show off again because it just sounds so good, it already adds so much more you can do to the car. Now, this isn't even the surface, because obviously we can't do performance customization on this demo, which means normally we can do engine swaps and such, which is new, which unfortunately we couldn't do on this demo. Hopefully we'll be able to do some of that super soon, because I really want to try and show you the engine swaps. I'm excited for the engine swaps. Anyway, so these transitions are new. They're obviously showing a car as a loading screen instead of just showing you random loading screens. It gives you something nice to look at because you've obviously made it. But we're now jumping in to actual race. Now, this is a race in the daytime. This is one of the official races, the legal races available in the game. And my friends, I've got to tell you, the handling has changed. I don't want to jump to conclusions because I need to try more cars. I've literally ran off from the rest of them to try and film this quickly as possible. Get out for you guys. As I said, I promise you, the earliest Need for Speed stuff I can get out. Here's actual race gameplay. It actually looks so good. Now, this is the actual footage I'm filming right now. I was recording at 4K on a PS4 Pro. This is an early build, and that's why it's not perfect, but it's on a PS4 Pro, which, again, the Xbox One X is more powerful, and obviously you've also got PC, which is definitely going to look even better. And even as is, this looks stunning. There's so much more detail and props at the side of the road. The official races kind of give that cool effect of the fact that there's all that stuff at the side of the road. There's more things to hit, there's more things to kind of interact with, there's more things to look at. And obviously the wet roads. We gotta come out on the wet roads. Obviously, when games are being shown off, that's the first thing they usually do. Oh, and also, the nitrous. That's something that you'll notice is a little bit different. Now, I've got 3 NOS bottles, and all of them, how they work is essentially you use it, it goes, it's done, it's used. It can regenerate. It's based on action and also based on the time. It's a combination of the two, I believe. I felt the effects more so of the time refill. God, it looks good. Anyway, handling. Okay. This is where I need to be careful, because again, this is the first time I've driven the GTR. It's all-wheel drive, but as you can clearly see, so far in this event, I've drifted maybe once. And that's because they changed the handling in a significant way. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still arcade. You can't, I don't want that to ever change. I've always complained about the handling. I did a drift there, that was an intentional drift. Essentially what you're doing to pull a drift is you're clutch kicking. Instead of using the brake to initiate a drift, you double press the accelerator. Now again, this car is stock, as far as I know. It's popping like a bloody maniac, but it is definitely stock. And essentially, we're not really playing with the fastest end stuff right now. And that's probably because this demo's not running amazingly. And so they're like, yeah, how about we just let them drive the stock ones. If it's any faster, we might have some streaming textures issues. Anyway, essentially what we're doing, the difference between the handling on this game, you grip. You grip when you brake, you don't snap into a drift. You're essentially, it's more realistic in that way, but it's still an arcade racer. Now, you can tune your car, as you saw back at the garage, we've spoken about this before in a previous video. If you actually tune your car to drift, it would probably snap and slide everywhere like it did before. But the grip is actually, it's better. In my opinion, it's for racing. Factually, it is better. Now, when you move over to drifting, obviously, it's probably going to be similar to how it was. I do know that you do have to do more throttle control. You can't just hold it. But again, it's difficult to really show that and demo it when you're just, for example, playing these set events with stock cars. You can't really test that out properly. But we're moving on to a night race now. I did try and slide a little bit more in this one. You will notice I actually did slide a little bit. Sometimes. And that was intentional. But as I said, I want to compare it to more cars before I give you a proper brief on that. I will come back to you and speak to you about that kind of stuff, because you know how important that stuff is to me. The main thing is that if you do drift, you will notice it feels slower, and that is because they've removed the drift boost. So essentially, when you would drift on the previous games, because you could do a lot of drifting uphill, they would give you a speed boost. Ignore that sloppy driving. They would give you a speed boost, considering the fact that, you know, you'd kind of need it. And that's been removed. Now, I don't know how the negative effects of this is going to be, but clearly they're publishing it in the game, so surely they're advertising a new handling, so surely they know that they've got it right this time. Uphill, sliding would probably be pretty hard, unless you've got a maxed out car, which is probably why they're not going to have many events going drifting uphill until later on in the game. We'll see if that's the case. Maybe that's the case. Anyway, this event is where the police started to come into play, which they were pretty aggressive. This is a race. It's so nice for them to be back in events, though, because when they did Open World Cups, I was worrying if it was just going to be a free roam thing. I don't know if it was actually going to be actually in the races, but yes, it's in the races. I haven't had much time to play with them, but they do seem about as aggressive as Paybacks, I would say. I haven't had any smart moves done to me except the specific spawn points, which are probably scripted for a demo like this at Gamescom. If it's not, we'll see later on, because I'm going to play the game multiple times over. And if the cop spawns in the exact same spot, we know it's probably scripted. Anyway, so this GTR felt very grippy. It felt like a GTR should. It felt like an all-wheel drive-esque, which is something that they've struggled to really show before. But again, I've not played with too many cars, so I don't know if that's just an overall thing in the game. We escaped the police pretty early on, but they do come back after you. I wonder, almost, are they going to be chasing the other drivers in the race as well? Is it just going to be you? Because normally, we'd be playing all drive, which is back again on this game, so you can be playing with your friends, I think, on all the events, I would imagine. Maybe not the story ones. I don't know how it's going to work. But I'd hope, in that case, that they would be chasing the AI as well, because very clearly that would make it much fairer. So, coming up to 60% on this race now. Again, the new UI for the races is really cool. At the top of the screen, you can actually see what my reputation that I've earned through this event so far is. 75. So not a lot. I almost feel like they're going to expect people to be drifting absolutely everywhere again. And that, to me, seemed a bit fast for a jump. The camera, it just goes absolutely insane when you do a jump. And again, making more contact with the police officer, with the UI kind of juddering everywhere. More shots of the paint. I can't get over this paint. This paint alone is fantastic. Now, I really wish we could have got to play with the engine swaps and stuff. As I said, I'll hopefully wiggle some threads and try and get us some performance customization, because that's where, for the most part, it's going to be at. We've got the handling. Pretty much, it's getting there. Okay, and I don't want to say it's fully there, because it does feel a tad sensitive, which is better than not being sensitive at all compared to the other. But we need to do more investigating before I fully say, yes, this is perfect. But there you go, my friends. That is our first look at Need for Speed Heat. I'm very much intrigued. I'm very much excited. I'm going to be showing you a heck of a lot more over the next few days. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.